Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call!
Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Late jokes.
You're mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And no Tyler.
No rootin' tootin' Tyler over there.
No Count Orlok Tyler. No Tylo Ren. No Tyler Perry.
This show is my affliction. That was my Count Orlok Tyler impression.
He's out for the count, so he says. Resting at home. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's
Maybe riddled with disease.
But we're here, and this week, the Wheel of Destiny landed on my pick, The Town.
People get up every day. Tell themselves they're going to change their lives.
People do get up every day.
It's true.
They never do.
Deep though, you know?
I'm going to change mine.
Hey, what do you know about bank robbers?
I'm thinking about, one dog. Taking heat. Are you going to change?
There's people I can't let you walk away from.
This is the last one. We hit pause after this. If we get jammed up, we'll hold them court on the street.
Town.
Town, comma, the.
Town.
Why isn't this movie The Town?
It is.
Oh, okay.
It is The Town. It is The Town.
Where did that come from, anyways?
We don't know. We don't know. A drop that was pulled in 2021
Yeah.
from some episode before that.
I know that it was Tyler complaining about a movie. He was giving a review about some movie. I don't remember which one. And he said, I would have liked it more if it was more like The Town. And I remember thinking that was a really funny comparison. It's like, if only it was, I wished it was more like The Town.
Why doesn't this star and Ben Affleck? Why isn't it directed by Ben Affleck?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't there more bank robberies? Why isn't Jeremy Renner a loose cannon? And then that's where the drop came from. Why isn't this The Town? And that's why this movie is being reviewed today.
Is that the main reason for you?
Yep. Because of the drop. I had no real desire to watch it. Just based on
I had no desire to watch the movie.
I had no real desire to watch it.
So put it on the wheel.
Just like, separate from the podcast.
Yeah.
You're
not like, I wonder if Ben Affleck's got it, what it takes.
God, it wasn't like I was, living my life thinking like, man, I really want to watch The Town. Maybe someday.
One day, God willing, we'll be watching The Town.
But
did you watch it with Deanna?
I watched the last half with.
She's like, you can do this one without me.
I watched the last half with Deanna. I watched it in like 2 parts. She wasn't around for the first part. But yeah, so we're reviewing The Town, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck as the lead character, Doug McCrae, also starring Rebecca Hall, John Hamm, Jeremy Renner, Blake Lively, George Carroll, Owen Burke, Titus Welliver, Pete Postlethwaite, and Chris Cooper. But mainly Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, John Hamm, and Rebecca Hall.
Yeah, Rebecca Hall.
Blake Lively's role is really small, but important towards the end of the movie. Or it has a big impact towards the end of the movie.
Couldn't find anybody from Boston to do that part. Could have just pulled anyone off the street to do a better job.
I'm pretty sure they filmed it in Boston.
Yeah, I know.
They had countless shots of the cityscape.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool because me and Deanna went to Boston over the summer of 2024, And this takes place mostly in Charlestown, which we did not go into. Which I'm glad we did. I did so many bank robberies.
You could have been robbed
I know.
if you were a bank.
I know. If I was in the bank,
What if you were a bank?
if I was a bank in Charlestown, I would during this time. But it was cool to see the city because Boston was a really cool city to visit. The town is about a group of thieves, with Ben Affleck being the sort of lead of these gang, who are very proficient at robbing banks, and armored trucks, carrying bank things, money. And the beginning of the movie is them robbing a bank, and Ben Affleck sees Rebecca Hall's character and is like, she's hot.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, so I'm going to start dating her.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but not really.
Yeah.
She gets
abducted. They take her, essentially kidnap her because like
they want collateral. Jeremy Renner's character wants collateral.
They want collateral. And Jeremy Renner's character is
the loose cannon.
He's kind of unpredictable, unhinged is what he is. He would beat that poor guy on the ground in the bank in the beginning
for no reason.
Yeah, I know. And then he
for next time. Now he'll know.
Yeah. And then he takes Claire, who's Rebecca Hall's character, and they take her in the van and they drop her off by the water and blindfold her and tell her to keep walking till she touches the water. And then they meet up later after the job and say like, they took her driver's license with her address and like, oh, she only lives like a few blocks from here.
Like shit.
Yeah. So they are gonna essentially. Jeremy Renner says that I'm gonna follow her, stalk
He's
her.
like, I might need to take care of her.
Yeah.
And it alludes that he might kill her.
Yeah.
Or something, or beat her up, or intimidate her in some way. So I think Ben Affleck decided to do it on his own terms because he's a thief with a heart of gold.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get out of the biz.
He's the Prince of Thieves.
Yes. John Hamm plays the FBI lead in this investigation of bank robberies.
Forgot he was in this too.
Yeah, I had no idea he was in it.
I've seen this once before.
At first I was like, John Hamm, he's like playing a serious role. At first I wasn't. But then I actually did like his character and like his portrayal of that.
Are you used to seeing him in comedic roles?
Yeah, I didn't watch Mad Men.
Oh, okay.
So
it's hard to see him as anything but Don Draper.
Yeah.
For a long time after I watched that show because he's so fantastic in it.
But I enjoyed him in this in the end, and I really liked Jeremy Renner's performance in it. And yeah, they're just really good at robbing banks, and it gets all twisted up because Ben Affleck starts dating, starts seeing the person they kidnap in the very beginning, and so there's like a very strong conflict of interest there, and then Jeremy Renner catches him dating her, and then it becomes this whole whirlwind thing, and then Pete Postlethwaite plays the guy who organizes the jobs,
the florist.
Yeah, the florist, and he has this Irish accent because they're in Boston.
Yeah, he's like true blue Irish, true green Irish.
And he plays Fergus Colm. Fergie. They call him Fergalicious. And it gets to a point in the movie where Ben Affleck wants to get out, and then we get the last job of his story and of the movie. But yeah, this was my first time watching it. Pete, you said you watched it before. Tyler, I don't know. Rizzler, how about you?
Yeah.
So Pete, what did you think on your rewatch? How long ago did you watch it the first time?
On not in like first release, but like home video release, but probably 2011, something like that. And I remember liking it well enough. I remember liking The Fighter more, which was kind of the same era, also Boston centric, also about local Boston, like local legend or whatever, I guess. And funny enough, Affleck wanted Mark Wahlberg for the part of Jeremy Renner originally.
Oh, really?
He wanted Wahlberg, and he was too busy doing The Fighter. And,
that's funny.
And ended up being their only Oscar nomination was for Jeremy Renner's performance.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, so it worked out really well for them. And at the time, I remember thinking, this is fun. I didn't expect much out of Ben Affleck as a director. And, you know, it's a crime caper set in Boston, kind of doing what he I feel like that's right, exactly what I would expect for him.
Yeah.
For Ben Affleck. But I remember liking it pretty well, pretty good. And, but not really thinking about it much. I was like, looking back at it in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, it was a pretty fun crime caper.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a few fun side characters, but not a ton. It's not like Ocean's 11 where like all of the guys in his crew are all magnetic and interesting and all have different personalities. He's got the kind of big boy, tough guy friend who drives the truck. He got the kind of like mousy, quiet friend that is like the tech guy that works for telecom or whatever. Vericom. And then, of course, Jeremy Renner as like the loose cannon brother from another mother who it felt like when they were having that barbecue scene where the FBI is watching them, I was like, oh, this is Fast and Furious, but with bank robbers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're family, you know, and they break bread together. What kind of a family doesn't share a beer with a real brother or whatever?
Yeah.
And it was like, it was cool, I guess. Rewatching it again, I feel like not a whole lot of people are giving great performances in this outside of Rebecca Hall. John Hamm does good. I don't think he's given a ton to work with, but I like him. But like Ben Affleck, I don't know, just I didn't care about his character. He's like, you know, I'm getting out of all this mess and blah 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 blah, and you're just like, okay, shut up. I don't care why. You know, what do I care? But Jeremy Renner is really, really crushing it. Like Jeremy Renner and Rebecca Hall are doing great. And the subject matter for Rebecca Hall, it's like there's some interesting stuff there, like dealing with like the PTSD of, you know,
being held at gunpoint.
Yeah, being held at gunpoint and then kidnapped.
Yeah.
And I thought, on a rewatch, I thought, man, they're leaving a lot of interesting stuff on the floor with her character and what she's gone through and how she reacts to it. And then I found out the original cut was 4 hours long, and that makes a lot of sense. Because I feel like there's so much to explore with this, but they glanced over a lot of the interesting stuff, and they spent the time working, basically highlighting the relationship and fast tracking that through the story. And it was like, I just didn't really particularly care. Like Ben Affleck is just kind of a dumb dope in this. And yes, he's nice, and yes, he wants the best.
I don't know if he's master planning these heists.
I understand that. That's what they said. I didn't get it from him. From his performance, I didn't get that he was this criminal mastermind.
I guess you don't see him really planning any of them.
Correct. That's what I mean. It's like you don't show me lead me to it.
Yeah. It's just like they just have the plan already.
And it's because the FBI says he's the criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's Doug McRae's the guy right behind it all. And you're like, yeah, he is, I guess. But until they said that, I didn't really put two and two together with it. He didn't drip like intelligence.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't the accountant.
Definitely not the accountant. There's the one scene where him and Renner are talking about, you know, he's like, when are we going to do the next job? It's not ready yet. Well, I want to make it fucking ready. And he's like, the next job has a guard that thinks he's G.I. Joe. That's dangerous. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. I like that. A little bit more of that, a little bit like get me to know that character, to care why he's trying to get out of all this stuff. What his tragic backstory is just told in one exposition dump, which was super clunky. It was like Rebecca Hall says, you know, tell me about your mom or whatever. And he's like, oh, she left when I was a little kid. And she's like, that's it? And he's like, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I was a little kid. My mom left, you know? And then he gives his whole story about making the lost dog poster for his mom and stuff. And yeah, it's super sad and it's super tragic and stuff. But it's like, that's about the extent of it. That, and then the rap sheet scene from John Hamm explaining who they're dealing with and who they think the actual perps are. So I just felt like a lot of that stuff, it didn't emotionally land well. And then Blake Lively is just terrible. She's...
Good thing she's not in it that much.
No. She's just, every time when she comes in, you're like, man, she's really trying hard with that Boston accent. Like really, really trying hard.
Yeah.
And
I'm from Boston.
Yeah. Oh, you want some papas? I was just in the bathroom. I'm gonna stick some in your fucking drink, dude. And like she looks the part. She looks like that like trashy townie that you would expect. But I don't know. And she just didn't. Her part wasn't doing it for me. And maybe it's because you're so juxtaposed to Jeremy Renner's fantastic performance that it makes hers look even worse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Ben Affleck is seamless because he's from Boston. Everybody else that feel like they're giving like a legitimate local legend, local sort of accent.
Mm-hmm.
And then hers is just through the roof. It's like playing to the back seats.
She's an implant.
Yes, she's trying to earn her paycheck. So, I didn't really love that part of it, but still, it's a pretty fun movie, and I think the action sequences work. The shootouts were interesting. The car chase is kind of interesting, and it's not like a super skilled driver stuff. It's just a couple of guys, a couple of knuckleheads knocking off a bank.
Mm-hmm.
They get stuck in a weird position, and how do they get out? And I always like that sort of like it's grounded, the chase sequence.
Mm-hmm.
When they're in the van and then they get boxed in and you're like, how the fuck are they going to get out? And then the Jeep comes in and it's their friend in the nun mask and he's like, come on, let's go. And they torch the van and jump in the Jeep.
Yeah.
They're like, perfect. They boxed him in the back alley. They lit the getaway car on fire and off they go. I could see that working. And then obviously the big action set piece at the end when they rob the stadium.
Yeah.
You're like, that's intense.
Yeah. It was.
And I'm watching it with Brianna and I'm like, she looks at me and she goes, I don't know if they're going to get out of this one. I'm like, I don't think they will.
Well, because you're like, well, what
can you do?
Yeah, there's so many fucking cops out there.
Yeah.
Surrounding the place.
Assimilating in as a cop is a great way to get out of those situations, but especially when you're playing off like the Boston PD and the FBI together and the fighting there and stuff. It's like that's so all in all, I still think it was a fun movie. Not as interesting or kind of memorable as the first time I watched it, but I will take away that Jeremy Renner's performance, he deserved the Oscar nomination because he was head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
My knowledge of this movie extended to they dressed as nuns to rob something, a bank, an Auburn truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that I felt like the only good actor was Jeremy Renner, and everybody else did they did their job, and then Blake Lively underneath everything.
She's
else.
a step down.
Yeah. I also did not care for the relationship thing between Affleck and
Rebecca Hall.
Yeah. I didn't care about their getting away together or
it just
I didn't I cared less about that, way less about that than the heist scenes and them being professional bank robbers. The car chase sequence with the minivan was really good. It was really well done, I think. Navigating through those really narrow streets. It kind of felt like the chasing from Bullet or something.
Yeah.
And it felt real. It felt it like you said, it felt grounded. There was one moment where they make this really sharp turn and the tail of the car almost clips the corner of a building.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. And the actions, the sort of the main heist at the end was very intense, and I enjoyed that part quite a bit. Everything else, it felt like between those parts, it felt like kind of like a slog a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, let's get to the next job. Let's go. I liked when they go to and just beat those guys up randomly. She tells the story she was harassed in walking through the project. They threw a bottle at her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I'm going to go beat the shit out of him now.
Yeah.
But I think that scene was a good part to really show how unhinged Jeremy Renner's character is.
Yeah.
Because he takes off his mask and then he shoots him in the leg twice. And I was like, okay, he doesn't even know why he's doing this.
Yeah.
He's just a violent person.
What'd you do to my brother?
Exactly. And and in the movie starts off with these quotes basically saying that crime, being a criminal is like a genetic in this town, in Charleston.
It becomes a family trade.
Yeah, in Charlestown. And like you don't escape being a criminal once you're in the world of doing that, I guess. And the thesis of the movie, I guess Ben Affleck becomes the antithetical to that theme of the movie, right? Because he wants to get out and go to Florida. And I enjoyed I enjoyed the way the movie was made. It had a nice grit to it. One specific moment towards the end, and this is going to be a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen The Town, when they're in that final shootout and they're dressed as cops and they split and they're walking away, and John Hamm gets the clue, got Mr. Exposition over there giving like an interview or something, or not interview. He's like telling another cop or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the security guard said that the 2 cops came in.
Yeah. I think they're crazy because simple to wackadoo.
Yeah. And then John Hamm's is like, huh? And then,
wait, cop, you see, huh?
Cop. And then,
Just start shooting cops.
And then he's like, I can't trust anybody.
They're all the criminals.
I know. Pulls out 2 pistols. It's just, and then, he's walking around and sees a cop walking the opposite direction with a bag. And obviously it's gotta be him.
Yeah. It's definitely suspicious at the very least.
And then from that moment on, it's like, I was like, oh fuck, oh shit, what's he gonna do? What's gonna happen here? And then that moment there, that like standoff scene was really well done. And then here's the spoiler part. They kill Jeremy Renner.
Great death scene.
That was what I was gonna say.
Oh, it's so good.
The dying part, this is weird. The dying part, and then like him just lying there. Like it felt like I was watching the news.
Yeah.
It was weird. Like I was on Live Leaks or something.
Yeah.
It was eerie, but it was really well done. And
how his eyes just get like that, and he has like that puffed up part on his face where he gets shot.
Yeah, he's like basically ragdolled.
Yeah.
Against the pole or whatever, and like when in a dramatic movie, in another like dramatic movie that is like this, someone gets shot. They get shot directly in the middle of the forehead, or in the middle, or on the side,
temple, or something
like that. This, it's just like right, like in the cheek, and then like in the chin or something. And it's like a really small detail, but I really appreciated it.
Yeah, that was impressive.
And I like the way the movie looks. Like I said, it has a really nice grit to it. It feels like I don't know if it was filmed on film, but it has that feeling of it. And there's like this, it kind of has this illusion of a grand scope because they keep showing shots of the monument, like the mini DC monument in Charlestown. But it's a really contained story that is like halfway entertaining, and then like kind of, like I said, kind of a slog between the robberies and the action sequences and the shootouts and the infighting between the gang once the twist is, or not twist, I guess, the reveal of that he's dating the witness.
That was a great scene too, when he shows up at the coffee shop on the outside patio.
And then the tattoo thing, that doesn't really come into play. Like she sees the tattoo, he covers it, when he's like escorting him away.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't come back. And there was a moment in the movie where I thought that she just knew that he was the robber.
When was that?
Like towards the third act of the movie, where she says, "I know who you are."
Oh yeah.
I was like, I thought that was her saying that she knew he was the robber.
The editors got you.
But then
they got you.
But then what was he saying? What did she mean by that? Just like, was it like a more metaphorical thing?
Yeah, it's more as a person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, oh, you're alone and you're looking for redemption. Or
because
something.
then,
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was some shit like that.
Because then the FBI agent,
you're a scared little boy,
was like, here are the guys. You recognize him?
Yeah.
And then I thought she was like, at that point she knew already.
Yeah.
So like when he came back and she was like in the bathroom crying and stuff, I was like, I thought you knew already.
You got hook, line, and sinker by the editor.
I mean, I don't know if that was the intention though.
I think they're setting you up for that, and then she says, "Oh, you're just this guy sort of person," and then you're like, and he breathes a sigh of relief too, and it's like, "Oh, I thought she got me." So you're led to believe that.
Oh, does he? Does he do that?
Kind of.
Oh.
Yeah, very, very minuscule.
Oh, okay.
When Ben Affleck gives her the money, buries it in the garden. Do you think that's a curse to have stolen money like that?
Does he give her all the money?
It's half.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think no, because he uses a lot of it to donate for the hockey rink
Oh, yeah, that's right.
in his mother's name.
I mean, it like a burden, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, I might have all this cash.
Yeah, cool. I have $150,000 worth of cash that I can't do anything with.
I mean, you could piecemeal it.
Yeah, I guess you could just live your life over the course of the next like 5 years.
Yeah.
Slowly spend it or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how you would you can't just go to the bank. I have this bag of cash I would like to deposit.
Yeah. Where'd you get it? So one time, long time ago, I pulled out a big sum of money to go buy a car, cash.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to like plan it. Like they don't just have $15,000 sitting there
Yeah.
in the bank.
Cold
So
hard cash.
I told them, I said, I'd like to pull this money out, please. And they're like, we don't have that on site. Like, really? I mean, based off the movies, you think you would at least,
But the movie said
at least $50,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, I mean, we can get it for you probably tomorrow. It's fine. We'll just call it in from Central or whatever they said. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm not in a huge rush for it or whatever. But I had to like report what it was for. And I had to like fill out some forms for like large deposits and large withdrawals. Sometimes you have to ask for that. Specifically if it's cash.
Yeah.
If I made a big deposit into the bank from like a retirement cash out certain thing I needed to do to pick something in the house, and it was like no issue. It just took a couple days of delay till it actually the full funds were available, but I didn't have to fill anything out. If that was if it was like $40,000 cash, they would have said, okay, we need to know where this is from. Are these like bank like winnings from the casino? Is this like
Yeah.
do you own a cannabis dispensary, or something, So I feel as soon as I saw that, I go, well, good for him, but what the fuck is she gonna do with all that?
I know, deposited over the course of fucking 10 years.
Yeah, it's like John Hamm was like on her like a pig on shit,
Yeah.
or fly on rice or what pit fly on shit.
Pig on shit.
White on rice is the word I was looking for.
Fly on rice.
Yeah. So he's on her like a fly on rice. And then he listens to the conversation. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to Florida. Wish things could have been different. See you later, dude. And then he's like, okay, well, she's not a suspect anymore. Okay, we'll never talk to her again.
Yeah.
Like 2 days later, she's digging in the garden and finds this fucking money.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the legalities of, you have this person, this third party who is associated with the criminal, but they're helping you kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no, like, she does the whole like sunny days thing to essentially tell him not to come.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was a nice touch.
Yeah. Because he's watching her, he knows that the cops are there.
Yeah.
And it's like, is there anything that is like binding her to be charged with anything? I mean,
no. I mean, she alludes to that when she's being questioned immediately after the first heist.
Yeah.
She's like, should I get a lawyer? And he goes, I mean, the ACLU's here, I'll never say this, but only guilty people get lawyers. And you're like, wow, fuck, really?
Yeah. And then his line, John Hamm's, when he goes like, we're national, right? And like, I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, he's not gonna. They know what he looks like. They know his name. He's going to Florida. He's staying stateside.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going international. It wouldn't be that hard to find him.
No.
Unless he lives truly like a hermit.
Yeah.
And he's living in a goddamn shack.
Changes his name or something.
Yeah.
Different identity.
So it's like at the end of it, after the movie's over, he's still gonna get caught.
Yeah, probably.
So then what's all this for? He kills Fergie. Oh, the spoiler.
Yeah. I liked that scene. I liked how he kills his grunt too.
Oh yeah, let me tell you something.
Hey, things went south. Let me tell you about it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Has he not shoot himself in the head with the bullet that go through the head and hit his own head?
I guess.
Is that
I think he went from top down, back of the head. But
he was thinking that he's like, I don't want to shoot myself because I'm going to put my head next to his head, so I'm going to angle the gun that way.
smart.
Probably.
You wonder if he rehearsed that
Yeah,
move.
maybe.
I don't want to accidentally kill myself. That would be embarrassing.
I killed somebody else and myself with one bullet.
The one thing that I think is goofy about stuff like that in movies is he would be fucking deaf. A gun goes off right next to his ear on the back of the guy's head. It's like right here, head ear to ear with the guy, and he blowed. It's like you wouldn't hear fucking shit for like an hour.
Yeah, it also happens in movies where they fire guns in cars, and it's like,
oh yeah,
like they do, like other movies do it where they do include like the sound effect of, or the side effect of being near a gunshot. But other movies, it's just like just going off, just in the car, and everybody's fine.
In Snatch, Vincent shoots off the shotgun in the back of the car and blows the windows out, and he's like, gets it to replica or whatever. I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's not a replica. Maybe it is a replica that shoots off. But anyways, in Baby Driver, they use it, also featuring John Hamm, to deafen Baby. He puts the gun next to his ear and shoots it off to deafen him.
Oh yeah,
and it's like that is right next to his ear, and this is probably 6 inches away from that.
Yeah, and in that it's more of
unwatchable, the movie because of that.
Wait, this one?
Yeah. This
one. Okay. But
it's based off a book. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Prince of Thieves.
Oh yeah, I did say that at the end
by Chuck Hogan.
I did say that at the end,
and it's same characters, everything. Boston bank robber forces a manager, Claire Kesey, to open a vault. She sets the alarm, forcing the brown bag bandits to take her with them.
The brown bag bandits?
That's what they're called in the book.
Oh. Are they like old-timey robbers?
Yeah, see, you're going to open this book. You're going to open up this vault for us, please.
Brown bag bandits, you see?
FBI agent Adam Frawley and Boston detective Dino Dean identify them as suspects all too easily. Claire is caught between the affections of Doug, the gang leader, ensuring that they cannot be identified, and Adam using her to track the gang. There were chapters breaking down the flow. Okay, yeah. So it's got like 4 stars on Goodreads, 4 stars out of 5.
Oh, on Goodreads.
Yeah. And then also Joe Bridges in the chat mentioned that it has a strong resemblance to the movie called The Friends of Eddie Coyle from 1973, starring Robert Mitchum and Peter Boyle. Rest in peace, Peter Boyle, and probably Robert Mitchum. But it's about a Boston gangsters who one of them may or may not be turned on each other to turn informant as an FBI informant, while also selling guns to the same people from the world. So not so much of a double cross in this movie, but a lot of stuff that's reminiscent. And Ben Affleck cites The Friends of Eddie Coyle as one of his favorite movies of all time.
Oh, okay. So the original cut for this movie was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And the studio, after Affleck cut the movie down to 2 hours and 50 minutes, so still near 3 hours.
That was his choice, right? He said he knew no one was going to watch it, or somebody said no one's going to watch a 4-hour movie directed by you.
The studio and producers loved the 3-hour cut, or almost 3-hour cut, but they wanted the film to be no longer than 2 hours and 10 minutes. And then Affleck was happy with the theatrical cut, and he said that an extended cut on the DVD and Blu-ray will feature deleted scenes on top of the cut footage. And he also said that while the theatrical cut of The Town is a close adaptation of the novel Prince of Thieves, the extended cut is more true to the book. So I guess there is an extended cut on the physical version of this. Like earlier, you said he wanted Mark Wahlberg for the role of Jeremy Renner's character, James Coughlin, but he was shooting the fighter. Casey Affleck suggested Jeremy Renner because he worked with him on Assassination of Jesse James.
I forgot about that.
Which also has like a gun, like a short gunfight scene in a bedroom.
Yeah,
where they're shooting on these, obviously like it's a Western, so these old pistols, all these old like 6-shooters, and they're just like clearly missing each other, like when they're like 5 feet away from it, and then they like get shot. I think Jeremy Renner gets shot.
Yep.
In the like the chest or something. And spoiler, he dies in there as well. And that reminded me the gunfight with Fergie in the florist. That scene reminded me of that scene in Assassination of Jesse James, because they're like literally feet away from each other.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of missing.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell who was getting shot.
They both did, but
Yeah.
Ben Affleck had a bulletproof vest on. He came prepared.
And then he shot him in the balls.
And it cuts to black as if that killed him, which I think is funny.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have your balls, then what are you?
I thought that the ending felt almost like the ending of Shawshank Redemption. Like it did. The shift in tone seemed so weird, like antithetical to the story.
It felt very abrupt.
Yeah.
Just like, and I'm gone, and I'm in Florida now.
Yeah.
Apparently Zack Snyder, this is the movie that Zack Snyder, that convinced Zack Snyder to cast Ben Affleck as Batman.
Oh God. What? I'm not surprised, but really, that's dumb.
Yeah. That's kind of
so in the trivia, this Ben Affleck cites specifically the Friends of Eddie Coyle as an influence, but also The Departed, Heat, and Mystic River. I could see The Departed for sure.
I like to think
Not enough backstabbing.
I like to think that this is Ben Affleck's. He just is directing a movie about his character from Good Will Hunting and what that guy did after the end of Good Will Hunting.
I feel like he wanted to make an ending that felt like Good Will Hunting's ending, but just failed.
Yeah, maybe
because it's like that. He's on the road and he doesn't get the girl, and she goes and lives her life, but it's probably for the best for both of them or whatever, or maybe not for the both of them, but definitely for her.
Yeah, that's I don't even remember his character's name in Good Will Hunting, but he played like kind of a like he like a shitty person, you know, because he lived in the same house as
Chucky.
Will Hunting.
Chucky was his character's name. No, because he picks him up every day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Every day I come and pick you up. I wish you don't walk out that door.
But he's the one who tells the girl, right, that he didn't go to, like, because Matt Damon, Will Hunting, he decides not to go to Harvard or whatever, right? He just drives to California.
Something like that, yeah. I think so.
And then Ben Affleck is the one that breaks the news to whatever character is looking for him.
Yeah. Stellan Skarsgård.
Robin Williams.
Probably both of them.
What was the girl that he was interested in?
It was, I can never remember her name. Let's see here. I'm on the page right now. You'd think she'd be top billed, but she's not.
Really?
It is Minnie Driver. Skylar, the character's name of Skylar.
Oh. The cinematographer, Rodrigo Prieto.
We're back to the town?
Yes.
Okay.
Back to the town. He was the cinematographer of Amoros Perros.
Oh, cool.
And Ben Affleck told Rodrigo that he copied the whole car chase sequence from that film and implemented it in the town.
Wow, that's interesting. That's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't really get a whole lot of that.
I mean, I don't really remember a car chase sequence from Amoros Perros.
It was much smaller, much shorter.
Yeah.
It's more like car crash, I think.
More of a car crash.
Yeah, than a car chase.
Did he do? Oh no, he didn't do it. Robert Elswit did the cinematography for The Town. And he also did it for There'll Be Blood.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Punch Drunk Love and Nightcrawler.
That's cool.
So he got a proficient DP for this movie. I mean, it looks good. It looks great.
So listen to this. This is an interesting piece of trivia. The film was originally set to be directed by Adrian Lyne, who was the director of Indecent Proposal, Jacob's Ladder, Fatal Attraction, 9.5 Weeks, Flashdance, like 80s and 90s movies, and then nothing, Lolita, and then nothing until 2002 for Unfaithful, and then nothing until Deep Water in 2022.
Deep Water, the one with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it was a 20-year gap in his filmography, but in 2010 he was set to direct this, and he had a falling out with Warner Brothers, so they asked Ben Affleck to step in.
Really?
They're like, "You're from Boston, right?" It feels like when they asked Norman Jewison to direct Fiddler on the Roof, and he's like, "You guys realize I'm not Jewish."
What do you mean?
I'll do it, but
yeah.
I know it's right in the name.
I think it's funny that so Ben Affleck does this, and then I know Matt Damon didn't direct The Instigators, but you have The Instigators with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, right?
Yep.
And set in Boston
Yep.
as well. It's like there are other cities.
Also, the first time you see Ben Affleck on screen, he's wearing
He's wearing a Harvard.
No, it's Bruins. It's a Boston Bruins.
Oh, is it?
Jersey, and it just says Boston across the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if Lady Bird? You see Timothy Chalamet show up, and he just says Sacramento on the back of it.
Like, I don't know if
I
I
wonder
would.
where this is set.
Yeah. I don't know if I would wear a shirt that just says Sacramento on it. Like a shirt with a picture of the Tower Bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
on it. I mean, I see, I'm getting off topic here, but I see Sac merch and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't know if I would wear it.
Yeah,
but
I think it's kind of cool. But it's so on the nose for a movie.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah, it's like a movie set in New York City, and then person's wearing a shirt that says I Heart NYC. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, I love it here in the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps.
Here we are
Town
in
of broken dreams and big shoulders.
Boston.
Windy City.
Here we are in Boston. I'm sad Tyler's not here to do an impression of
Oh God.
of Bostonian.
Next week, Tyler, if you're listening and you've
Maybe we could do an impression of Tyler doing an impression of a person from Boston.
I feel like my Boston accent would be no better.
Boston.
Yeah, Angry Otter's got it.
Boston.
He's got the written accent. Boston.
We're from Boston.
Okay, dude.
Big fans of Red Sox and water. I don't know.
Fucking Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. Shake Shack. Anybody?
Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Is that a big over there?
Yeah. It's huge over there.
I tried it. I had it one time in an airport and it was all right.
I never
The
had
bun was sweeter than I was expecting, and it was good though.
it. Yeah.
I got some more trivia.
Okay.
Originally, the studio wanted the novel's original ending, where Dougie is mortally wounded during the shootout with Fergie, and then dies in Claire's arms in his apartment.
Huh. Wow.
They filmed that ending, but test audiences didn't like it, so they did the version that they used.
We don't like it.
We want Ben Affleck to survive and become the Batman, dude.
The Boston Batman.
Boston. The scene where the cops turn away, literally turns the other way,
Yeah.
is based on an actual event.
That was so funny when that was actually that was so comical when they were dressed as nuns and they're just direct eye contact.
They're getting ready to like go into their apartment, and the guy's like, "What do I do?"
He's like, just turns his
Physically
head.
turns his head.
That was so funny.
I mean, you've heard the phrase "look the other way."
Yeah.
But when you see it in application, it's
He literally did it.
literally look the other way.
That was so funny.
I know. What the next step
He's
is
one cop.
with all these guys with like Tech 9s.
Yeah, and they all got assault rifles or and these automatic weapons. And what are you gonna freeze?
Yeah.
You're in a terrible position. You're sitting in your car with the window down, profile. No.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous situation to engage, and he's just like, you know what? I'll literally look the other way. That's fine.
I see nothing.
Yeah. In the 1920s, Chicago mobster Dan O'Banion ran a flower shop as his front for bootlegging. Just like Fergie, the character in the film, he was eventually gunned down and killed in his own flower shop.
Oh.
The actual event was also recreated in the series Boardwalk Empire.
Ah. Okay. I'm wondering what a Boston Batman would be like. Boston Batman.
He just smokes. That's the only difference. He's wearing a Carhartt.
This city deserves a better. Can't even do it. You know what? This city deserves a better class of criminal.
He's got a hoodie and a Carhartt over his Batman ass suit.
Drinking Dunkin'.
I do like how you can almost really easily spot the costume design in these movies, because Boston, especially the type of person that they're portraying in these movies, is considered like a working man. So a lot of Carhartts, a lot of like warm work wear, gold change with crosses and stuff like that. It's like, I know I'm a fucking criminal, but I love Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
I still got to give my heart to Christ.
I know. I did enjoy Jeremy Renner's like, I'm not gonna go back to prison. I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna die doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
It's commitment.
you know, I did like the turn though with him because I didn't expect that he killed that guy when he was 18 for Dougie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd only find that out when he's trying to leave town and he's like, yeah, you ain't gonna fucking leave.
You ain't gonna fucking leave.
What about what you got here? And then it eludes for one, fakakta, ridiculous conversation. He's like, Shine's not mine. Are you kidding me? And you're like, this is the first time they've talked about it.
I know.
Like, this is the first time they've had a conversation about whether the
and his kid.
yeah, exactly. No, that is a kid. Shine's a kid.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't know. That was pretty ridiculous. But I did like where he's like, you know, I didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that for me, but you did. So I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Basically stopped a guy from killing Dougie
Yeah.
and got 9 years for it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, 9 years for murder seems light.
The for murder, execution style. When they get cornered in the stadium and they get flashbanged,
Yeah,
the guy,
the young kid.
the young kid who has like no lines.
He has the telecom guy.
Yeah.
Vericom. He's got a few lines.
But he's like in compared to like in terms of like seniority or
Yeah.
he just the way he dies, he's just like standing there and he just gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
Was it was very I don't know. He just looked like a zombie standing there.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that mainly because when you're stunned like that, you know, he just lost his bearings and it's just enough to stand up and be like, whoa, what happened? And then boom, you're dead.
Yeah. I like the other guy who drove the ambulance out.
Chubby dude, yeah.
Yeah. And the cops are just shooting.
Yeah.
I don't-
There's a scene where John Hamm shoots a shotgun at Jeremy Renner's character.
Yeah.
And there's people behind him too. You're like, well, I guess fuck those guys.
I know,
Fuck
right?
those citizens on the street.
Especially with a shotgun.
A couple things. The guy that gets shot in the head, he's a local. He was 20 years old when they picked him up to do the film. This is his first movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a troubled youth, got caught in some gang activity, and they gave him a shot.
Oh, okay.
I thought he did fine for the small part he had. And then also that scene where John Hamm's character is chasing Jeremy Renner's character. It's a really, really interesting chase around the car.
Yeah.
Where he's shooting at him on the ground, and like John Hamm's like slipping and sliding around the car in the gravel. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a really good, really well done physical bit that I think is a lot harder than people might give it credit for, because that was legitimately terrifying.
Yeah, because he just has this big gun.
Yeah, he just lighting him up on the ground, and he's like, they're like running around this Buick like a Three Stooges skit.
I know.
Scooby doing it, but John Hamm is like he did a really good job, and I don't know if that was really a stunt actor or not, but I thought it was him.
Yeah. And then just them walking like he's not even running away. He's just walking with his bag. I mean, he's already shot this gun, so the attendant's already on him, and the cops are already on their way. At least he like wanted to die at that point. He's like, it's almost like he just accepted that, like, I'm not going to get away, so I might as well just fight back as much as I can. It felt like a very anti-cop movie, which I appreciated. But at the same time, it was like the whole FBI thing, a national organization. It's not going to take long, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I was entertained by it, but it's not something I feel like I'm going to revisit again in the near future.
No, it didn't have enough of the action tense scenes, which were really effective in the movie. But yeah, the love story thing was, I could have skipped that. I could do without that.
Jack says he gave this 5 stars. He fucking loves this movie.
He fucking loves it, dude.
I want to hear Jack do a Boston impression,
Please.
because he did a Californian impression.
Did he?
For us on the show. See if I can find it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Guest drops?
Yeah, guest drops. And Jack.
And we have lists,
Oh yeah, you don't know that?
and you have people's names, listeners.
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
That's his California accent.
Is it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else he did was he said was Australian.
I was stoked by that.
You know,
Massive news, man.
you don't have to do the Australian accent around us, Jack. You know, you could drop it.
I know it's just fake. Yeah.
I'm ready to embarrass myself. Yeah.
Oh, they can't hear it.
Oh, they can't?
No, not off the.
Oh, that's some bullshit. That
I mean,
sucks.
they-
I can't believe they can't hear it from there.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but yeah, so that's The Town. Kind of a mid movie,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I think it's above mid for me.
Yeah.
It's entertaining and it's shot well and it looks good and there's better versions I think of this movie, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. All right. You want to grade this or what?
Let's put this thing to bed. Pete.
It's a tough one to grade. Like I don't want to be too harsh on it because I feel like it's a good entertaining movie, but there's enough cheesiness that takes itself too seriously.
When it's good, it's good. When
Yeah.
it's not good, it's mid.
I give it a B minus. Give it a B. Yeah, it's a B. It's a B movie with starring Jerry Seinfeld. And yeah, I mean, you could do a lot worse if you haven't seen it. It's worth watching. Erase Blake Lively out of it and more Jeremy Renner, and I think it would raise it, half a letter grade.
B plus.
B plus, A minus, something like that. But yeah, good enough. And
Yeah.
it's The Town. I mean,
It's The Town.
yeah.
Why is this movie The Town?
Yeah, what?
Why is this movie The Town? There's a new one.
Yeah, thank you.
How
How about you?
I think I am like a B minus on it. It was kind of a slog. It was like kind of half uninteresting and then half really interesting with the heists. I just wanted more of that. I just wanted more of the actual. I want to see the planning. I want to see them getting the names of the guards,
Yeah.
and like learning about their families and the address they lived at.
That was impressive.
Like and maybe the 4-hour cut has that. I don't know.
Probably. He also wasn't reading that off a sheet. He memorized that.
Yeah.
So I guess I've just talked myself into him being a criminal mastermind.
Yeah. He is the accountant. I want to see like a crossover now, The Town and the accountant.
The accountant. The accountant.
The accountant.
All right, that didn't work.
But yeah, it was mostly entertaining, but then you have the sort of forced in like weird love story that I just didn't care about. So
All right.
B minus.
All right.
Now it's off the wheel, and now it's time for the wheel.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny.
All right. Town's off the wheel. We talked last week a little bit about
Changing the
format.
format.
And we were going to talk about it with Tyler this, before the show started, but he's not here, so we couldn't do that.
He's gone.
So
Oh, we didn't ask what he thought about The Town.
yeah.
I think we can all agree that we really enjoyed this movie and this was a masterful piece.
Oh, okay, I don't know about that.
Exactly. Yep, that's
No.
definitely
Yeah.
okay. So we're doing a possible restructure, and then we have a few different options here. The question, though, is if we really do go into seasons, topic seasons, rotate through themes, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
subjects, whatever,
Topics.
semesters.
And then we take spring break and summer break. And
Yeah,
Thanksgiving break and
Good.
winter break.
we could do that like a free for all.
We get Memorial Day off.
Hell yeah,
And Martin Luther King
MLK Day. Yeah, that's right. But
Halloween,
not, but not
maybe.
Arbor Day.
Oh no.
So if we do that, though, what happens to our movies on the wheel is the question. Like,
Do
we
the-
have them here. Like, are we still going to work through these?
Maybe we put the themes on the wheel.
Maybe
What theme for this month?
we could just have all the themes and then use that for the next month. Like that's what we cover for the next month. But still, what are we going to do with these movies that are here?
Oh, the movies the current movies
current
that
movies.
are on there. Like, when do we roll it out?
Yeah.
Is it a gradual thing, or do we just?
No, I think we do the format change. It's going to be done.
We-
Like we pull the Band-Aid off. Next week we start with a new format, whatever that is.
Okay. Or, I mean, we replace the movie with a theme until it's all themes on there.
We could. What I suggest, and you tell me if you're into this or not, is we just continue to pick these movies at random until they're gone. basically just we get all these off the wheel. We've teased these movies to the audience. We just have like, this is it. We're gonna no new movie on the wheel.
Okay, we go all the way to the end
until this is empty, and then we start the new season,
and then
new format.
And then the next week is the new format.
Correct. I mean, we'll probably like I would want to, if we're gonna get the Patreon members to choose the movies from that topic or from that subject.
Yeah.
Want to give them some time to vote or put their 2 cents in, so it wouldn't be just like 1 week and done.
We'd have to be working in the background.
Yeah, I'll be doing some stuff off hours to make sure that we get that communication out. But like once we're down to like the last 2 movies,
yeah,
a couple weeks from now,
and the themes could be anything.
Yeah,
it could be
Bruce Lee movies,
an era. It could be Bruce Lee movies. Could be a director's movie,
1950s.
Could be a genre specific.
Billy Wilder movies,
blaxploitation movies.
Yes,
could be French New Wave movies.
Could be anything. Yeah. But we'll do, all 3 of us.
Movies starring Blake Lively.
Oh God. Yeah. We still have time to play with the format. But are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And I was gonna put Purple Rain on.
Oh, okay.
That was gonna be my next pick, and I'm sad I'm not going to because I bought the special edition 4K just released.
I mean, you can still talk about it.
Well, I think what I want to do is I won't say what I want to do, but I'll tell you after the show because I have an insider for that.
Prince, you know him?
I knew him.
Oh,
I knew them.
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, I knew the symbol.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so I guess for now we're not going to replace anything on the wheel.
Okay. Well, I'll just watch these movies on my own then, I guess.
All right. So now we're down to, and there's going to be a lot more Patreon interaction for the Patreon Cool Ass Yard Duties to basically select the movies that we review or something like that
within the
topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's recap what's left on the wheel. We have Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 from Joseph. Oh, speaking of which, that's our like highest rated or highest downloaded movie in like the last like 3 months on YouTube.
Really? The Paul Blart
first part 1.
That's funny.
Yeah. Falling in Love like movies from Pete. Hell Comes to Frogtown from Pete. Teeth from Tyler. Killing of a Sacred Deer from Tyler. All right. Here we go. We're going to spin this.
What if it lands on a blank?
Yeah, we'll spin again. Okay.
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
All right.
Oh, what is that?
It's spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Is that an homage to Gummo?
It has to be. It has to be. There's also a spaghetti eating scene.
You got a weird looking dude eating spaghetti.
There's also a spaghetti eating scene in it's I don't know if it's a Relaxer. Ravener Relaxer. Maybe it is Relaxer. Oh, Buzzard, that's it. Buzzard is the movie I'm thinking of.
Buzzard.
Yeah, he gets a bunch of money, a little bit of money, and gets a nice hotel room and orders room service and just eats spaghetti. And it falls all over his chest while he's eating it. So, anyways, there is another spaghetti eating scene in this movie, in Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah.
And we don't know why Tyler picked it, but we'll find out next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's here.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't have the vid.
Yeah, if he actually does have COVID, I don't want
then
him
he can't come.
I don't want him here. Yeah. Like, get him out of here.
Stay as far away as possible.
But if that happens, I guess we'll do an audible. I don't know. We'll do something else.
Still review it.
Yeah, I guess so.
We did that, but what Roadhouse?
We did Roadhouse.
Was his movie.
There was a couple movies he chose and then wasn't here. What a chaotic life he lives.
Doesn't know what he's going to do anytime he wakes up.
Yeah, that's right. So, anyways, you got anything else?
I do not.
Okay, let's see here. Change is scary, says Jack. But he does like the idea. All right, let's put together something.
It's been 5 years of this, of the...
Pretty much. Like, we spent, I think we reformatted after a year.
We changed...
Split it into 2 episodes
the
after
grading
like 2
system.
years. Yep.
Took us a year to figure out, like, it's school.
Yeah. Put actual grades instead of scores.
Yeah.
And then we split it into 2 episodes after episode 100. So that was 2 years then.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Anyways, thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. If you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just watch us on the YouTube channel. That helps too without having to support or pay, I should say. So, until next time. Thank you for joining us as we gab and chatter. We talk about the town, and we discussed format changes. That's going to be fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Follow us next week as we review Killing of a Sacred Deer from Yorgos Lanthimos, Tyler's pick from the Wheel of Destiny. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And leave us a voicemail at 209-283-1716. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
All right, it's been a blast. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya!
This show is my affliction.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week. See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.